Infectious disease outbreaks like the current coronavirus, COVID-19, can be scary and can affect our mental health. While it is important to stay informed, there are also many things we can do to support and manage our well-being during such times. I've put together some tips we hope will help you, your friends, your family, to look after your mental health at a time when there is much discussion of potential threats to our physical health. I'm Pete Cann, the Laughter Man, and I'm a qualified laughter coach. And since discovering the power of laughter to help improve health, wealth and mental well-being, I've been on a mission to discover ways to help people who are struggling in their day-to-day life. As we move out of the COVID crisis, we really need to make sure we're ready to bounce back strongly, and that means being on top of any potential COVID-19 depression, anxiety. Hopefully these tips will help you do just that. Looking after your mental health while you have to stay at home. More of us will be spending a lot of time at home, and many of our regular social activities will no longer be available to us. It will help to try and see it as a different period in your life, and not necessarily a bad one, even if you didn't choose it. It will mean a different rhythm of life, a chance to be in touch with others in a different way than usual. Be in touch with other people regularly on social media, email, or on the phone, as they are still good ways of being close to people who matter to you. Create a new daily routine that prioritises looking after yourself. You could try reading more or watching movies, having an exercise routine, trying new relaxation techniques, or finding new knowledge on the internet. Try and rest and view this as a new, unusual experience that might have its benefits. Make sure your wider health needs are being looked after, such as having enough prescription medicines available to you. Try to avoid speculation and look up reputable sources on the outbreak. Rumour and speculation can fuel anxiety. Having access to good quality information about the virus can help you feel more in control. Follow hygiene advice, such as washing your hands more often than usual for 20 seconds with soap and hot water. Sing happy birthday to yourself twice to make sure you do this for 20 seconds. You should do this whenever you get home or into work. Blow your nose, sneeze or cough, eat or handle food. If you can't wash your hands straight away, use hand sanitizer and then wash them at the next opportunity. You should also use tissues if you sneeze and make sure you dispose of them quickly, and stay at home if you're feeling unwell. It's really important that we get a balanced view on everything we read or hear online or in the media, as there are lots of people out there with an agenda that might not be helpful to the majority of us. Let me know in the comments if you have any source of news that you rely on. So let's crack on with the video. Make a personal financial plan. If the pandemic has stretched your expenses, reduced your income, or left you unsure about your job prospects, this uncertainty can take a toll on your mental health. Plan your finances, including making sure you're getting any benefits you're entitled to and getting help with any debt concerns you may have. With different restrictions in place, using a budget tool to redo your household budget for being at home could be useful. Remember that you may be saving money by not spending on things like transport and socialising. Factor that in when you're looking at your budget. Trying to stay in a stable financial or debt position is incredibly protective to our well-being. Help and advice is available. Try to stay connected. The way we are able to connect to others is changing, but this is happening at a different pace, depending on who you are and where you live. Advice is very different if you are shielding, if you still need to take extra care, if you have a long-term physical health condition, are pregnant or aged over 70. At times of stress, we work better in company and with support. Try and keep in touch with your friends and family by telephone, email or social media, or contact a helpline for emotional support. Stay in touch with friends on social media, but try not to sensationalize things. If you're sharing content, use this from trusted sources, and remember that your friends might be worried too. Also remember to regularly assess your social media activity. Tune in with yourself and ask if they need to be adjusted. Are there particular accounts or people that are increasing your worry or anxiety? Consider muting or unfollowing accounts or hashtags that cause you to feel anxious. Talk to your children. Involving our family and children in our plans for good health is essential. We need to be alert to and ask children what they have heard about the outbreak and support them without causing them alarm. We need to minimise the negative impact it has on our children and explain the facts to them. Discuss the news with them, but try and avoid overexposure to the coverage of the virus. Be as truthful as possible. Let's not avoid the scary topic, but engage in a way that is appropriate for them. We have more advice on talking with your children about the coronavirus outbreak. We're about halfway through the video now, and I hope you found some of these tips useful. If you have, why not consider subscribing to my channel, where I've got loads of information about how to lead a happy, positive life, as well as tips on how to use laughter to create happiness and well-being in your personal and professional life. Okay, so on with the next tip. Try to anticipate distress. It is okay to feel vulnerable and overwhelmed as we read news about the outbreak, especially if you have experienced trauma or mental health problems in the past, or if you are shielding, have a long-term physical health condition, or fall into one of the other groups that makes you more vulnerable to the effects of the coronavirus. It's important to acknowledge these feelings and remind each other to look after our physical and mental health. We should also be aware of and avoid increasing habits that may not be helpful in the long term, like smoking, drinking, or overeating. Try and reassure people you know who may be worried and check in with people who you know are living alone. Try not to make assumptions. Don't judge people and avoid jumping to conclusions about who is responsible for the spread of the disease. The coronavirus can affect anyone regardless of gender, ethnicity, or sex. Try to manage how you follow the outbreak in the media. There is extensive news coverage about the outbreak. If you find the news is causing you huge stress, it's important to find a balance. It's best that you don't avoid all news and that you keep informing and educating yourself, but limit your news intake if it's bothering you. Look after your mental health as lockdown eases. Across the nations of the UK, lockdown is easing in different ways at different times. As we begin to come out of the lockdown, many of us are faced with both challenges and opportunities. Within social distancing guidelines, we may be able to see friends and family in person, play sport or return to work. However, many of us may find even these longed for changes difficult for our mental health. The idea of coming out of lockdown when the scientific debate is ongoing may also be worrying for those of us who are more at risk from the virus or living with mental health problems. If this is something you are struggling with, read our tips on dealing with fear and anxiety as lockdown eases and coping with uncertainty. There we have my tips on how we can pull the nation out of a post-COVID mental health crisis. I hope you have found this useful. And remember, if Pete can, you can. And I'll see you next time.